What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean, and today, reactions to the classics. We got a reaction to Paul Weller's, really just going to encapsulate his whole
Yeah,
career with that, the Style Council, and the Jam as well. We got a top 10 list, not necessarily a top 10 ranking,
right.
but the person, our patron and friend of the channel, Peter, who is
Very
a
smart guy on music.
yeah, who's a massive fan of Weller's career. He gave this to us as a bit of a primer, just to kind of get it accustomed. We've only we did That's Entertainment, a song battle
Right.
for the Jam. I think that's the only Jam track I know, or anything from Weller that I know. But I know he's beloved over in the UK,
Yeah.
so I'm very much looking forward to diving into this. And I want to thank Peter again for
Thank you,
bringing
Peter.
us this list. He brought us the Stone Roses to
Yeah.
react to,
Wow.
which got a great response and was just an unbelievable
And we're
record.
doing a Jam album reaction
That's
for him
right.
next month, so be on
Sound
the lookout
effects,
for that.
man.
Yeah, exactly.
So, looking forward to that. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to hit that big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future videos, man. And if you would like to have us maybe do a top 10 song reaction, something like that, be sure to check out our Patreon page, which is linked below. Shout out to the patrons, man, who help
Yeah, definitely.
keep this channel running and allow us to do all that we do. And I guess all that to say, we're going to get started with some quick facts before we get into the proper list itself.
All right. Well, as you said, Trey, Peter, this is what Peter had to say about it. Firstly, it's not a top 10 ranking, more a brief sample from the three main phases of Weller's career. I could probably compile another five equally good Weller top 10s. It starts with the Jam in the late 70s, early 80s. The Jam were a dynamic three-piece from the outskirts of London who emerged during the British punk scene, comprised of Weller on the guitars, vocals, and songwriter, Bruce Foxton, an outstanding bass player, and Rick Buckler, drums. They weren't punks, but were a mod revival band. Mods were a youth cultural movement in the early to mid 60s. They were known for their smart Italian suits and a love of African American music, such as soul and Motown. Bands to reference include The Who and Small Faces.
Right.
The Who's Quadrophenia is about mobs. Weller is still referred to as the Mod Father and
I
is
like
known
that.
for his stylish attire almost as much as his music.
And Style Council were a pop/soul band Weller formed with Nick Talbot in the early 80s. The band also featured Weller's wife, D.C. Lee.
Oh.
I like that. On vocals, she previously worked with Wham.
Okay.
We featured a lot of George Michael on the channel as well. Peter noted he wasn't a huge fan of the Style Council, but there is no doubt they had some great songs. As with the Jam, the lyrics were always strong and tackled social and political issues, but in a pop style. I hope you enjoy the selection. I think you will notice the comparisons with Ray Davies. Him and Weller are big mates. Both are great observers of English life and amazing lyricists and know how to turn a tune. Ray received a knighthood. I wonder if the Queen is a fan of the Jam.
Wow.
That'd be cool.
So that's all Peter's stuff. It was fantastic. I got just a little bit more. Despite widespread critical recognition as a singer, lyricist, and guitarist, Weller's remained a national rather than international star, and much of his songwriting is rooted in British society. Many of his songs with the Jam had lyrics about working class life. He was a big influence on Oasis and many others. The Daily Telegraph said of Weller, quote, apart from David Bowie, it's hard to think of any British solo artist who's had as varied, long-lasting, and determinedly forward-looking a career. The BBC described Weller in 2007 as, quote, one of the most revered music writers and performers of the past 30 years. He's received 4 Brit Awards, winning the award for Best British Male twice, the 2006 Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to Music, and his most recent solo album entitled On Sunset was released in July of 2020
Still coming out, man.
and rapidly reached the #1 slot in the UK albums charts. Due to his last success, Weller has #1 UK album spanning 5 consecutive decades. He joins artists, I think you've heard of these two guys, John Lennon and Paul McCartney, in having the distinction. Trey, what are we going to start out with?
Well, shout out to Weller, man, and we're going to take this kind of in reverse chronological order. We're starting with Weller's solo work,
Right.
gonna work back to Style Council, and then kind of finish this off with the Jam. So the first song that we're going to do is The Changing Man from Weller's Stanley Road record in 1995. This reached 7 on the singles chart in the UK, becoming his first solo top 10 hit. It was co-written with Brendan Lynch and performed, written, and produced by Paul, who sings and plays the guitar, piano, shakers on the record. He claimed the song's title came from the name of his daughter Leah gave to one of her dolls, although at the time his friend Terry Rawlings managed a band called that. So I like that. Little mystique on what.
Yeah, exactly. And the song expresses Weller's mantra of breaking things up if they're getting too comfortable. This is a crazy story. The previous year, he had divorced his wife, breaking up what appeared to be to the public to be a happy marriage. In an interview in 2010, he expressed that this was because there were senses, quote, that things were going too well. We were too happy, too comfortable. Everything seemed too nice. And that for me as a writer and an artist, I might lose my edge. I had to break the shape up, rearrange things, noting that said turmoil supplanted the lyrics of the entire Parent album and stated that the lyric numbed by the effect, aware of the muse, too in touch with myself, I light the fuse, was about the process of causing chaos around you. I mean, Trey, I'm all for artists going all in, but to get divorced so you maintain your edge because you're too happy, I mean, you might be a little too into what you're doing.
Going in, man.
When I was researching, found it's like, okay, that's crazy.
Well, and now we're going to get to it. Well, we're going to have the lyrics pulled up on our respective computers, and the music is not going to be in here due to copyright, but there is a link in the description if you would like to see the full, hour-plus long video that includes all the music if you're not familiar with the tracks. But we're going to save the meat of our reaction towards the end. Want to shout out Peter again for bringing this to us. This is
Looking
one
forward to it.
I'm excited to get into. So let's start this off with The Changing Man. Man, there was a lot in this track I really enjoyed. A lot that surprised me in a sense. Most notably, we mentioned it a little in the reaction, but I didn't expect Weller to sound kind of that rough.
Yeah,
vocally.
I didn't either.
Not like in a bad way.
No, just gruff, kind of like. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The longer it went, the more I enjoyed it. A lot of varying things going on the arrangement instrumentally, which I enjoyed as well.
And I think that vocal kind of sets well with the lyrical content.
I did too.
Like, you can kind of tell this guy's lived some life. He's gone.
You can't be singing, I'm the changing man, in some sort of falsetto. It doesn't work, man.
And the couplets in here, there were a couple that really, I think, just struck a chord and can resonate with people. Time is on loan, only ours to borrow. What I can't be today, I can be tomorrow. Yeah. So you kind of note that, okay, we're on limited time. And also the sense, if I'm not this today, I still have time to change.
Exactly, man. It ain't over till it's over.
And then the more I see, the more I know. But then the more I know, the less I understand. Ain't that the...
That is true. The older I get, the more I learn, the more I go, you know what, I don't really know anything.
And instrumentally, I was impressed. He was on the guitar here. A couple cool, short bursts of solos. I enjoyed the guitar tones that he was able to employ on this track. I see it's the opener to this record as well. It works.
Great album cover.
Yeah, I think it works for all those things, man. So great way to start this list off. And then our next track, there's four Weller tunes, 4 jam tunes, and 2 from the Style Council on this list, by the way.
Yeah.
We got Above the Clouds.
Yeah, we do. It was a single, went to 47 in the UK.
From his self-titled record in 1992. So let's hear.
That's all I found on it, so let's go for it.
We have Above the Clouds coming in. Definitely
totally different.
Vastly different than The Changing Man. And I think that was wise on Peter. Peter noting that he's going to show us all the different sides.
No, and he did, man. He showed us what an opposite side. Just as we talked about, it's smooth. Just totally smooth. His vocals were smooth.
Yeah.
The song itself was smooth, and it already shows you the incredible versatility. You would never know if you played those 2 songs back to back, they were the same guy.
No, and it had that guitar tone again was very slick, clean, and just was easy on the ears, man. And again, I kind of liked. It kind of almost fit with the title. I could imagine I was above the clouds, just kind of vibing,
dreamy atmosphere. I like the end of my dreams when you're scared of living, but afraid to die. I get scared of giving, and I must find the faith to beat it.
And at that point, the music kind of
crescendoed,
reached its climax, and then we brought it back down where it kind of gets a little bit more analytical. It must be me that's rushing by. Time just lingers on the wind, bristling through my open fears. I wonder what it's going to bring. What's going to be around the corner? What's going to be above the clouds? What's going to, just that wonderment. I think that Weller had when writing this song.
I agree.
Is brought forth on this tune, which brings us. We're going to go back to Stanley Road, 1995, with the track You Do Something to Me. Wellers noted that the song is about unattainable love, and it was a single and reached number 10. Pretty respectable,
Yeah.
man. Pretty respectable. So let's see what Paul's got for us here. Man, very bluesy in the guitar work, but if we just focus on Weller's kind of vocal delivery, again, very just kind of easy listening, smooth, showing the diversity here that Paul has. And again, this kind of fit because it was more a passionate kind of love song in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very heartfelt. You could feel the emotion in it.
Just even from the first lines, you do something to me, something deep inside. I'm hanging on the wire for love I'll never find. So he's kind of down in the dumps, I think, in a sense, like, gosh, am I ever going to find love? But he finds this girl, you do something wonderful, chase it all away, mixing my emotions, throws me back again. Then we get to that chorus, and I especially like the part in it where it says, I'm dancing through the fire just to catch a flame, feel real again. Hey man,
feeling alive, man.
Yeah,
feeling that love.
Once that love hits you, man, you start to be like, okay, this life is worth going. Hoping to get close to you. He notes later, a peace I cannot find. I just think it was perfect length. It's something that I think many people can relate to. Yet again, just kind of sensing Weller's like kind of everyday man type.
And a professional musician. That thing was just put together start to finish. Like, you knew that these weren't rookies working on putting this together. That's going to take us to the last Weller single solo song, Wildwood, from his second album, Wildwood, 1993. Went to number 2 in the UK, and the album did. And then the song reached number 14. Uncut Magazine rated Wildwood as Weller's 9th best ever song, but the best of his solo career. And then Peter had commented on his solo songs, but I couldn't read the comment until we were done with it.
Didn't want to spoil it, man.
He said, my selection of solo material is, again, not necessarily his best work, so file that away if you're going to make a comment. Go, I can't believe this wasn't in here. Peter didn't say it was his best work, but showcases his range in terms of songwriting and vocal ability. There's the almost folksy Wildwood, which we're about to get to, the iconic love song, And You Do Something to Me, the whimsical, that's a good way of putting it, Above the Clouds, and the dynamic showstopper, The Changing Man.
Wildwood coming in here as our final solo Paul Weller track, and I think Peter said it best, that it had a very folky vibe to it going in here. The first verse, especially where it was more subdued, reminded me a little bit of Nick Drake, actually. And then as it kept going, it kind of sounded like a guy like a John Mayer would maybe be influenced by a sound and track like this.
I thought that was a very astute observation by you.
But yeah, man, I enjoyed this one again, just showing his we're broken record, showing the different styles here, showing he can pull off a more subdued track. You mentioned the acoustic guitar.
Yeah, the acoustic was real nice in there.
Really like that. And again, kind of a message here: climbing, forever trying, find your way out of the wild, wild wood. Now there's no justice, only yourself that you can trust. Knowing just where you are blowing, getting to where you should be going. And then he notes, day by day your world fades away, waiting to feel all the dreams that say golden ring will bring you riches, all the good things you deserve now. So I kind of take this, I don't know, to just continue pressing on.
That's what I thought.
You don't know, you got to keep climbing, keep trying to do your best, and eventually, man, maybe that golden rain will bring you.
Perseverance, man. Maybe tomorrow it actually will be better, even if it hasn't been for the last million days.
Exactly. And now we got 2 of the Style Council tracks coming in. Our first one is going to be Walls Come Tumbling Down from Our Favorite Shop in 1985. Peter noted that he chose this because it is perfect for the U.S. election. I like that, as we are here less than a month away from election day here in the States, man. This was written by Paul, as I mentioned, released in 85. First single from the record.
Yeah, and the record, just so you know, Our Favorite Shop was renamed Internationalist for the U.S. market. So they did this with another one, too, I'll get to in a minute. But, I can't remember anything from the Style Council, but I do remember the name, because now we're getting into a period when, and I want to remember sort of like a black and white video, but I don't know, I was raised in the MTV generation, so I'm not really sure. It'd be ironic if it was this song. Huh?
Walls Come Tumbling Down, man. That was one of my favorites on the list up to this point. I really enjoyed just the kind of rowdy raucous nature of this tune. Keys going in, horns hitting from the start, and Weller was spitting fire, man.
Yeah, it definitely had a different sound to it. This is the one that we talked about in the beginning with the reference of Public Enemy number 10.
Yeah.
10 Downing Street, talking about Margaret Thatcher at the time, which fits in with that, just spitting fire lyrics. This one would take a while to grow on me. I know you really liked it. I knew you would once it started in the instrumentation. It just is a different sound. I'm not sure if it's my favorite Paul sound, but I mean, I just started listening to these tracks. But I do like how different it is.
No, yeah, I thought just the keys were great. I thought, definitely a unique kind of vocal delivery, almost like it had a treatment on it or something. And then the use of old DC Lee, the name, that's a name that just rolls right off the tongue with its with his rhyming. But I enjoyed how they played off each other in that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty, it just kind of gave the track a unique energy and vibe to it.
And I mean, it definitely sounds like 1985.
Yeah.
I mean that with all respect.
No.
I mean, but it sounds like when it's from.
And, I like the line, I know we've always been taught to rely upon those in authority, but you never know until you try how things might be. And then he notes the competition is a color TV. We're on still pause with the video machine. And then you have D. Lee coming in. They keep you slaves to the HP. Yeah. D came in and kind of just gave a backing that just gave an additional punch to whatever Paul was saying. And then I definitely like the verse. Until the unity is threatened by those who have and who have not, those who are with and those who are without, and dangle jobs like a donkey's carrot. Man. And then,
are you going to get to realize the class war's real, not mythologized? And like Jericho, yes, the walls came tumbling down. That was great.
Just a wonderful tune here. This one I quite enjoyed. And we're going to keep with the Style Council, going to the next track, You're the Best Thing. I believe the longest tune on here at about 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, from the album Everywhere Else, Cafe Blue in 1984. This one was also renamed in the U.S. My Ever-Changing Moods to capitalize on the success of the first single. Written by Paul, recorded at his own studio, Solid Bond Studios. Second single from their debut album. So, of course, the U.S. market, just like they had to do on the Beatles stuff, they got to turn around and mess with people's artistic stuff.
All right, You're the Best Thing, our second and final Style Council song on here. Dad, I know you weren't feeling the last one. I think I'm kind of in that boat with this one. Little too, just not my favorite vocal delivery from Paul here.
It's 1984, baby. I mean, that's what it is. It grew on me the chorus part grows on me.
No, chorus is very catchy.
Yeah, that started growing on me and catch me up. But no, I didn't feel it as much as I felt the solo stuff on either one of these.
And I mean, I know...
They're not bad songs.
I know Peter kind of said the same thing. He's not as big a thing. And, for a certain sense, you are just in that mid-'80s, period.
Man, I mean, you kind of got... I mean, it is a testament to how he could evolve. Because, I mean, you can keep your own sound, but at some point, you got to have some sort of commercial success where you can't keep putting out music. So... I totally get it.
I mean, all that to say, I did enjoy, the lyricism in this. Even if I maybe wish it was with a different musical backing. I mean, the music itself was well played and all that. It's just for my personal preference.
Just didn't click.
Well, yeah, it wasn't a big, a big a hit as the previous tracks on here. But again, that chorus, man, because you're the best thing that ever happened to me or my world. You're the best thing that ever happened, so don't go away. I mean, Paul definitely winning some points with whoever he wrote this,
I was gonna say, he definitely
whoever he wrote this for. I don't know if this was written for D or whatever the case may be, but and then just kind of noting he could go do this, do that, be power crazy. He could. I might win much more, but lose all that is mine. I could be a lot, but I know I'm not. I'm content just with the riches that you bring. So he's noting he maybe has this stuff in life, this or that, but he's really complete when he's with this love, man. So, Style Council coming out here, man. We got that. We got the Paul solo stuff. Now, our last 4 songs on this list are going to be from the Jam period, man. So, looking forward to this.
I am too.
And our first song that we're going to dive into is The Butterfly Collector from 1979, B-side to the track Strange Town in the UK. However, here in America, as you already mentioned, Dad, we like to do stuff a little different here. This was actually an A-side, didn't chart, appears on their compilation record, and it was released in May of '79 here in the U.S. And interestingly enough, he wrote this for an NME music journalist, Julie Burchill.
Yes, and it was on the Canadian album of Setting Songs, just on the Canadian release in '79. So
Interesting.
I came across that a lot here with the jam stuff in different areas and really messing around with track listings depending on what country, which I never liked that. Do whatever they did in the UK. That's where the original thing was. But hey, they didn't ask me, so.
The Butterfly Collector coming in, man. The jam and Weller just with a biting track towards Ms. Julie here of NME. Hopefully, if anybody ever watches one of our reviews or song reactions, that is an actual artist, they don't have these thoughts toward us, man.
Yeah, let's hope not. A few things, observations about the song itself. Just different sounding for sure. I really like the sound on it, and much more British sounding, like the accent, everything.
You're right. It had, and I mean, if this was '79, we were getting into that post-punk.
That's
type
what I was going to say.
Type of sound,
the post-punk sound, and I really enjoyed it.
No, me too, man. It just very unique guitar tone. That's what really stood out to me. And again, it just kind of bounced off Weller's voice well.
Oh, it did. And Trey, one of the verses, I mean, there's a lot of them there.
Oh.
But there's tarts and whores, but you're much more. You're a different kind because you want their minds and you don't just care because you've got no pride. It's just the face on your pillow that thrills you. I mean, there's so many biting things on here.
And in kind of noting, you use your senses to suss out this week's climber. I'm assuming, climbing up the charts, this or that. And the small fame that you've acquired has brought you into cult status. Music influencers and critics can kind of get a little cult status, but to me, you're still a collector.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Paul's letting her know, hey. And then the biggest line in here, as you carry on, because it's all you can't light a fire, you can't cook or sew. So Julie doesn't have any of these necessities for skills you get from day to day by filling your head, but surely you must know the appeal between your legs has worn off.
I'm like, oh my
man. Goodness. And then I think later on in here he said something about her, or earlier on he said something about her fashion sense, and then he's just coming at, I can't speak, I don't know anything about old Julie here, but I can tell that Weller was not a fan.
He was not.
But I was a fan of the tune, though, man.
I was too. No, I was too. Big time, man.
And then our next track is from Setting Suns in 1979 as well.
The Eaton Rifles.
So Peter got a cool little backstory just personally for himself on this track.
Yeah, Peter said the Eaton Rifles is literally very close to home to me, as Eaton is the town just outside London where I was born and raised. Hopefully I said the name right. I watched some YouTube videos, so hopefully, Peter, I did it justice. My house was within sight of Windsor Castle, the Queen's favorite home, on one side, and Eton College, the school where Prince Harry, Prince William, and David Cameron and Boris Johnson were pupils, on the other. By the way, I didn't attend Eton College, but I did play rugby against them many times from our school, and we usually thumped them. The only single from the album Setting Suns, it became the band's first top 10 hit in the UK, number 3, is the only official Jam single for which a video was not recorded.
Eton College, as you were kind of mentioning, Dad, is a famous English public school located in Berkshire, regarded as the epitome of Britain's privileged.
I would imagine it takes a lot of pounds over there to attend that with who Peter said attended there.
The lyrics recount the difficulties faced by the unemployed and lower-paid working class in protesting against a system stacked against them. That's Entertainment kind of touched a little bit on that
exactly.
as well.
And it recounts a street battle Paul had read about in the newspapers concerning elements of a right-to-work march through, in 1978, breaking off to attack pupils from Eton, which had been jeering the lunchtime marchers. Hence the line, "Hello, hooray, an extremist scrape with the Eaton Rifle." So I guess, I don't want to stereotype here, but it sounds like the rich kids came out to mock the working people walking through, and then Weller had something to say.
Yeah, he said there was a lot of class hatred in my songs at the time. Eaton Rifles would be the obvious example of that. We used to go on Sunday drives with my uncle, and we'd drive through Eaton, and I remember seeing the young chaps, and the song was ranked at number 1 among the top tracks of the year by NME. I don't know if Julie had any.
I don't know. Maybe Julie had something to say about it.
But anyways, man, That's Entertainment was in this place, but since we'd already did it, Peter switched it out for this track, and so let's get to it. Eaton Rifles, man, coming in with maybe my favorite song on this list.
Yeah, that was a fun one, man. That was just a fun one. It had all kinds of stuff going on.
Just taking it from the top, we got instrumentally. I thought the bass work, especially in that intro, was fantastic, and
But the
throughout.
drumming was fantastic as well. Kept driving it throughout.
Again, had a bit of that, alternative rock, post-punk type
Yeah,
of.
that's exactly what I thought out of it.
A little darker, type of sound in there, and I thought Weller was just, fire on the vocal delivery, especially the Eaton Rifles.
Eaton Rifles.
Like you just want to get in and sing along with him, and then lyrically, man, he's painting the picture here. Again, that class divide.
Yeah, exactly.
He was getting me ready to go and hop on a plane and go beat up some lads from Eaton here.
Yeah, he was me too. And the second verse, thought you were smart when you took them on, but you didn't take a peep in their artillery room. And that rugby puts hairs on your chest, does it, Peter? You can tell she's saying you played some rugby against. What chance have you got against a tie and a crest? Woo!
So they're getting ready. You can already kind of feel the adrenaline starting to pump here, and then they're going. They're noting hello, hooray, and an extremist scrape with the Eaton Rifles. Eaton Rifles. What a catalyst you turned out to be. Loaded the guns. Then you run off home for your tea. Left me standing like. So he says, left me standing like a guilty schoolboy. So I'm thinking, man, one of his buddies was all in it, ready to go. And then when the time came to go, he was like, sorry.
I had a buddy like that back in high school, man. He'd run his mouth and then he'd be at the back of the line, and one of us would be up there throwing hands. So I can relate to that.
And then they came out of it naturally the worst because they were probably down some men, beaten and bloody, and I was sick down my shirt. We were no match for their untamed whip, though some of the lads they'd be back next week, ready to go and try their hand at it again, man. Just a fun tune, man. I think that encapsulates just. I'm just guessing, not that I know any but 3 Jam songs, but kind of some of the best of what the Jam have to offer.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're up to Town Called Malice from The Gift in 1982. Peter says, because they mentioned this in the song, milk floats were electric vehicles which delivered fresh pint bottles of milk every morning to homes. In the UK, they're less common today. I mean, the old milkman back in, my dad was a milkman in, I think, the 60s, but they also got a mention in Bowie's Rock and Roll Suicide, by the way.
Debuted at number 1 in the UK, ranked among the top 10 tracks of the year in 82 by NME. NME popping up all over here.
Right.
It was their only entry onto any American chart, went to 31 on the mainstream rock chart. Title is a play on words of the 1950 Neville Shute novel, A Town Like Alice, although Paul says he had not read the book at the time. Hey, man, but the title sounds good. You just go with it. And then Paul noted that it was written about his hometown, working as a result of his teenage experiences there. Cool.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Town Called Malice, coming 1982. Didn't notice as much musically. Musically, it was more upbeat than the previous 2 Jam tracks we had.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I heard in the song, especially the first 20 seconds and a little bit in the middle. I heard You Can't Hurry Love. From the Supremes in 1966.
Yeah.
And then Phil
like
Collins actually took it to number 1 in the UK in 1982. But that very beginning of it, the intro musically really reminded me of that. And then just the rapid fire lyrics were, I enjoyed it. It was a fun one, man.
And love the bass line kind of in the towards the tail end of the song. Drumming was again very powerful. Kept the beat with a little upbeat tempo that this song was going for. And again, you can definitely tell Paul kind of connecting again with the everyday type of man, talking about the town called Malice, as we mentioned. Kind of from his experiences growing up and working. So. We got a lot of I appreciated the second verse about the milk floats as well, and 100 lonely houses. Clutch empty milk bottles through their hearts, hanging out their old love letters on the line to
I
dry.
don't think the milkman was delivering just the milk, man. We'll leave it there, but man.
Oh, that was kind of cool. And then just you had a section in there, ba 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 ba, and just kind of kept the beat and just kept the song a little bit lively. And then he kind of notes some of the darker sides of the Town Called Malice here a little bit as well.
Yeah, struggle after struggle, year after year. The atmosphere is a fine blend of ice. I'm almost stone cold dead in a town called Malice.
Then he mentions a whole street's belief in Sunday's roast beef gets dashed against the co-op to either cut down on beer or the kids' new gear. Kind of lets me know maybe the father here, he's got to either cut down on his drinking or buy his kids what they need. It's a big decision in a town called Malice. Then he kind of mentions the ghost of the steam train, which I know those were big in London back in the day, or all across the UK. Echoes down my track. It's at the moment bound for nowhere, just going round and round. I could go on for hours, and I probably will, but I'd sooner put some joy back in this town called Malice. I kind of like how that ends. Like,
I
you
did
know
too.
what?
Yeah.
It's maybe not a perfect town, but let's get the joy going in it. Good track, man. And now we're gonna end this list off with "Down in the Tube Station at Midnight" from All Mod Cons in 1978.
Yeah, I went to 15 in the UK. Originally, Paul wanted to exclude this song from the album on the grounds that the arrangement had not sufficiently developed during the recording session. He was persuaded to include it by the record's producer, Vic Coppersmith Heaven. What a freaking name. The song tells the story of an unnamed narrator traveling on his own who enters a London underground tube station at midnight to get the last train home, where he's attacked by a gang of men who smell like pubs and wormwood scrubs, which is a high security prison in London. Thanks to Peter for that insight, because I would not have known what that was. And too many right-wing meetings as he buys a ticket from an automated machine.
Wow, and yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to diving into this one. We're gonna listen to this track, enjoy it, and then at the end, we're gonna see what our 3 favorite tracks are from this list. I'm looking forward to this one. Let's get it. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Down in the tube station at midnight. Peter very well may have saved the best for last, because I really, really love this song. Just musically, the little tricks they used, and then the story it told.
Yeah, it was a fantastic, kind of what we talked about at the start with the story of it. But yeah, just the different sounds as it starts out,
It really
a nice
does.
little touch. Yeah, put you in the moment, man.
Yeah, both at the start and at the end.
At the
we had
end,
the
yeah.
train going in, and I just thought that was great. It really did keep you on the edge of your seat, wondering what's going to happen with this guy. First verse just kind of describes, puts us in the station notes. How Mr. Jones got run down, and how the headlines are just going to be of death and sorrow. And then now we get to his line. I like the way he described this: fumble for change and pull out the queen, smiling. I put the money in. I put in the money and pull out a plum. And then behind me, he starts to hear the whispers. The guys are there. They start asking him for money. He starts telling them, "I got a wife. Got this or that." She'll be polishing the glasses, pulling out the cork for some wine, and then that's when it kind of hits.
Yeah, exactly. I first felt a fist and then a kick. I could now smell their breath, and this is the part they smelled the pubs and wormwood scrubs and too many right-wing meetings. My life swam around me. It took a look and drowned me in its own existence.
No, man, and he couldn't see, hear, speak any longer. And then the last thing I saw as I laid there on the floor was "Jesus Saves," painted by an atheist nutter. And then his life essentially flashes before his eyes. He thinks of his wife, and then they took his keys. So then he starts worrying, oh man, are they going to go to that? And the wine will be flat and the curry's gone cold. I'm down in the tube station at midnight. Don't want to go down in the tube station at midnight. Now it's like he's fighting for his life. I don't want to die here.
I'm not going to die here. I'm not going to do that.
So I thought the bass work again was just unbelievable on this one, and one of Paul's, I think, strongest vocal performances. Man, love this tune, which transitions us very well now into our favorite tracks, man. And for me, I gotta go with this song, "Down in the Tube Station at Midnight." I think I'm gonna go with the Eaton Rifles, which was a late sub, I know, in Peter's list. I'm glad he did that. And then I'm gonna go with the first song we heard, "The Changing Man," from Weller's solo career. And if I was going to choose one from Style Council, it would be Walls Come Tumbling Down, with that horn section and him and D just going off.
Yeah, I
of
do
each
that.
other.
You're the best thing instead on that. But my 3 favorites are "Above the Clouds."
Okay.
Although "The Changing Man" gets an honorable mention. The Eaton Rifles for sure, and The Butterfly Collector.
Ah, yeah. I really enjoyed. My favorite iteration was the Jam. I just really like that sound.
Me
But,
too. Me too, for sure.
I thought Weller's solo work was really solid,
I did
and
too.
I did enjoy Walls Come Tumbling Down from the Style Council, and I appreciate Peter you bringing this to us.
Me too, man.
Because I mean, the Jam here in the states, especially today. I mean, it's not like their songs are getting played or anything, or
No.
any of Weller's stuff. So that's why we got such a multi-national audience and community here, man. We get so much great tunes from so many different countries that maybe didn't make it big here in the states.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in Texas in 2020, man.
Great music out of the UK.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite country for music.
Agreed.
Just for my personal taste, man. And anyways, let us know your top 10 tracks from a myriad of Weller stuff, and we'd love to hear that, as I'm sure Peter would. Dad, appreciate all the research, man.
Definitely.
And until next time, y'all. Thanks for watching. Happy listening, and we will see ya.